wiesz, podziel ekran. Dzień dobry Państwu, mamy drobne kłopoty techniczne, ale zaraz nam się je uda rozwiązać, mam nadzieję. Nasz prezenter dzisiaj, Zbyszek Czaja, za chwilę się z nami połączy. Troszkę walczymy z możliwością prezentacji. Ja może powiem, że nasz prezenter, Zbyszek Czaja, no to jest osoba super doświadczona. Od 30 lat pracuje z językiem, pracuje na Uniwersytecie Gdańskim, zajmuje się problematyką właśnie uczenia języka angielskiego no, w sposób łączący naukę z śpiewaniem, jest metodykiem, jest egzaminatorem Cambridge. No, zatrudniony jest w tej chwili w Studium Uniwersytetu Gdańskiego od 2010 roku, także pracuje w Instytucie Anglistyki i Amerykanistyki. Interesuje się bardzo różnymi rzeczami, między innymi współpracuje z Gdańską Fundacją Kształcenia Menedżerów, z Foreign Division Gdańskiego Uniwersytetu Medycznego, sporo różnych ciekawych rzeczy robi. No i powiem wam szczerze, że problem jest taki, że troszkę mamy problem z tym, że się, no mieliśmy kłopoty z połączeniem, ale mam nadzieję, że za chwilę nam się je uda rozwiązać. Zbyszek, no tak jak mówiłem, jest osobą super doświadczoną właśnie w uczeniu języka angielskiego, a dzisiejszy temat, dzisiejsze webinarium no, będzie poświęcone super trudnemu tematowi, mianowicie tematowi tego, jak uczyć ludzi prawidłowej wymowy, prawidłowego używania języka angielskiego. Zanim jeszcze zaczniemy, bo w tej chwili jeszcze czekamy na prezentację, to przypomnę o podstawowych regułach. Po pierwsze, będziemy mieli, jak wiecie, listę obecności, ale nie powiem za chwilę. Najpierw chciałem wam przypomnieć, że cała impreza, cały ten cykl szkoleń jest możliwy dzięki temu, że English Teaching, program Fundacji NIDA oraz platforma Instalink no, skrzyknęły się do kupy i organizują wam te cotygodniowe webinary. Zapraszam serdecznie na warsztaty English Teaching. Zobaczcie sobie pod adresem englishteaching.org.pl. Możecie spokojnie sobie tam wejść, obadać. Bardzo fajna sprawa, zdecydowanie polecam. W ogóle sam program English Teaching to fenomenalna rzecz. Poznałem tam mnóstwo wspaniałych nauczycieli. A oprócz tego zapraszam was także oczywiście do tego, żebyście korzystali z platformy Instalink. Bo jak wiecie, Instalink to jest innowacyjna platforma, która umożliwia no, pracę z studentami, z uczniami całkowicie bezpłatnie, naukę słownictwa, powtarzanie ćwiczeń dostosowanych do podręczników polskich i generalnie rzecz biorąc jest to naprawdę fajna sprawa. Zachęcam do rejestracji, na dole pokazuję w tej chwili adres, pod którym możecie się jeszcze zarejestrować. No i przypominam także, że mamy listę obecności. Lista obecności jest dla nauczycieli i nauczycielek, którzy wezmą udział przynajmniej w 3 webinariach naszych oraz którzy zarejestrują się oczywiście na liście, no i używają Instalinga. Dla tych osób przygotujemy specjalne certyfikaty uczestnictwa. No dobrze, ale chyba powolutku nie chcecie już mnie słuchać, tylko chcecie naszego głównego gościa. Our today's seminar is going to be run entirely in English. Zbyszek Czaja is ready to rock and roll with you. I see the presentation is ready. Apologies for the fact that it's not in a full presentation mode, but I think you'll manage. It's about the content, not about the bells and whistles. So I wouldn't worry about it that much. By the way, Zbyszek, I think you can minimize the tiles. So if you minimize the tiles, it will be almost as...
I wish I knew how to do this. Okay, what if I do this?
Yay! Great success. And there we go. Yes, so without further ado, I give the floor to one and only Zbyszek Czaja. There you go. The floor is yours.
Right. Okay. It's been problematic today as usual, but okay, we've come through and you can see it. Thank God. Okay, so a warm welcome to those all those people I can't see, but I can feel you're there. I'm sure that some of you saw the part 1 of my presentation 2 weeks ago, but there must be also some new people. So I thought it might be useful for me to briefly sum up what the first session was about. In a nutshell, the first session was related to the segmental level of language, that is, to the individual sounds. just to remind you, all languages, we as human beings, we have a speech apparatus which is capable of making a limitless number of sounds. But depending on where we live and what language we learn, then of course the sounds that we pick up are the sounds from the language which is around us. So over time we gradually master those sounds, and these sounds, which I call the building bricks, because these sounds we need to make words from. And when we speak Polish, we use Polish building bricks. When we speak English, we use English building bricks. The problem is that when we start learning a foreign language later in life, we already have in place the first language. And sometimes it is helpful, but when somebody's aiming at a near-native like pronunciation, this may be an obstacle, because whenever we have issues with, we don't know how to pronounce something, there is this, I call it library of sounds, we tap into. So this is very risky, because when we do this, these sounds may remain with us. And when we use a mixture of sounds, then our accent is quite likely to be marked with foreign accent. Okay, so Polish people, as any other nationality, have their most favored, notorious vowel and consonant replacements, which we use, and thus we acquire a foreign accent, or sometimes we cause confusion, and sometimes we even, this also leads to misunderstanding or a complete communication breakdown. Yes, so every language has its unique sound inventory, all those building blocks, and then every language has its phonology. And phonology is a set of rules which people use. Of course, phonology, native speakers do not study phonological rules. They learn them unconsciously or subconsciously, whatever you call it. We as foreign language learners, we have to study those rules, because unfortunately they are not the same. Each language uses unique phonological rules. And if we start borrowing things from our first language, we end up, I've said this already, having a foreign accent. We may confuse people. We may cause incomprehension. Okay, so this is the level one, the basics, or the base of the language, individual sounds. Now, in the second part of this presentation, I'd like to talk about the suprasegmental level. Suprasegmental means anything above the level of the individual sound. So here is a list of the things which the suprasegmental level covers. So the first thing which is above the simple sound, the individual sound, is the syllable. Sometimes a syllable is just one sound, like I. It can be a vowel and a consonant, like it, or the other way around, a consonant and a vowel, or both. You can have two consonants and one vowel in the middle. The minimum is a vowel. Then going up the ladder, the hierarchy, we have word stress. Stress, that is word stress, sentence stress. Then the next one, a very important aspect of language, is the rhythm. Generally, we've got two two kinds of language. One is stress timed and the other one is syllable timed. And I will talk you through this. You will see the repercussions of misusing the two or mixing them up. And then stress sentence. So, and we will be looking at the how English vocabulary is divided and what happens to some of the words. So content words will be stressed, not function words or grammar words will be compressed, will be squashed. There's also intonation, the melody. On everything we say, there's a melody. Intonation will not be covered in this talk so much because, generally speaking, it's not a very difficult. I would say the Polish people are lucky in the sense that we don't have huge problems with English intonation. Finally, there's connected speech features, and connected speech features cover the following: the use of weak forms, contractions, elision, linking, assimilation. So some words are pronounced weakly. Remember, in the first session, I talked about the schwa sound. So we've got grammar words which when pronounced in a stream of speech, they will be pronounced weakly, which means there will be a schwa instead of the full value vowel. So, for instance, must will be pronounced as mus, for will be pronounced as f. Contractions. So words like would, had, will would be put together with a noun. So I'd, they'd, would. Elision means simply dropping. You drop sounds. Linking, we link words together so that we don't sound staccato. And assimilation means that when some sounds come together, they become neighbors. The first one normally changes under the influence of the one that is coming. Yes. So first, a very important distinction that is between slow, careful speech and a fast, rapid speech. When we speak, we don't speak in single sounds. We don't speak in single words. We normally speak in chunks. We use single words normally when we are citing. So when somebody asks you, how do you read this word, for example? What did you say? Then you will pronounce a word strongly. That is, every part, even the vowel will be pronounced strongly. So when words come into contact in a phrase or in a sentence, I would say there is tension between the words at word borders. So normally this is the last sound, the final sound of a word which suffers more. The first word, the first sound of the following word will remain the same, because the rule is that normally the changes happen at the end of words, and the beginnings of words remain stable because they contribute too much to the meaning of the word. So in connection with this, we will have insertions, so like linking, deletions, elisions, so sound dropping, alterations, assimilation. All these I will try to talk you through today. Yes, there is this principle of effort, of the economy of effort in everything human beings do, and it also relates to human speech. So when we are speaking fast, when we know the context, there's no need to over-articulate, to articulate everything clearly and strongly. So as speakers of the same language, we know how to do it, how to cut corners, how to take shortcuts, so everything is, so that the message is transmitted and nothing is lost. This is the reason is simple. We want to save time and energy. So when we speak fast, all these simplifications, the ones I've mentioned above, so deletions, insertions, alterations, are just normal. And they appear in every language because this is just natural. English vocabulary generally might fall into two categories. Content words, another term is lexical items, which covers nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, sometimes also question words. And these words are normally stressed. Whenever we speak, we stress these words because they contribute more to the meaning. They tell us about the topic, what we are talking about, how things are happening, what kind of people came. The other group of people, the other group of words is grammar words or function words. And these small words are there to make our message grammatical. So these words are not spoken fully, but these words are normally, they become, they are not as loudly pronounced and not strongly pronounced, but they become compressed and squashed. So people, native speakers, know that these words are there, and it's enough to signal those words rather than pronounce the words. Okay, in connection with this, there is something very simple but very useful. This is what I've come to kind of to the conclusion after all these years, that, you know, like English words have got the ideal pronunciation. This is the dictionary pronunciation. And then there is also the fast connected speech pronunciation. And this is a very important distinction to remember, because in Polish, it took me years myself to understand this, even when I was an adult and studying English, that, you know, it was kind of strange that the same English words were pronounced sometimes beautifully, clearly, and then on other occasions, I couldn't understand the word. I said, you know, how come? And then I thought about, for example, if you think about the dictionary, what you get is pronunciation, and some words, especially those grammar words, they will have a few pronunciations. So you have, for example, and the misleading thing is that the first they give you the strong pronunciation. The word must will be, the first pronunciation will be must. The second one will be must. And then you also may have miss. So I thought, God, how is it possible for a word to have so many different pronunciations? We don't have this in Polish. Yes. The next thing which must be mentioned when talking about the suprasegmental level is stress. Stressing means making a syllable or a vowel louder, longer, higher. And there's, of course, greater muscular tension. When I know it from native speakers, and then I experienced it myself. I tried it out in Polish, and it is true. Placing stress on the wrong syllable is much more confusing than using, let's say, the wrong sound, one singular sound. Look at these, some of these examples. In English, we say category, but when we say category, or we say revolution, and when we say revolution, the French way, we say internet, but in English it's internet. So when you say to an English person, I've got internet, then, you know, or political, and you put the stress on political. Polish words, look, popole instead of topole, muzeum, lodóweczka, rowerek. Sounds, you know, kind of Highlandish, doesn't it? Yeah, rowerek. Yes, so stress syllables are more easily audible, And this is what actually English people listen for. English people will not listen for every single syllable that there is in a word. They will be listening for stressed syllables. Okay, let's go to the level to word level. When we've got one syllable words, what can go wrong is just we can use incorrect sounds. So we may borrow sounds from Polish, near native kind of near equivalents, Polish equivalents. And then we can use also, if it's possible, of course, if somebody's English is good, you may simply make a native speaker's mispronunciation, because sometimes native speakers also don't know how to pronounce something. So they will twist the pronunciation in their own way. So summing up, when we have short words like top, pop, lit, the problem is that we might use an incorrect sound. When we go up to polysyllabic words, that is ones which at least have two syllables, there is an extra problem. Generally speaking, the English stress system is very unstable, very complicated, and very complex. In Polish, we all remember that normally in words, the syllable which is stressed is the penultimate syllable, the last but one. Unfortunately, in English, there are many rules and there are many exceptions. So it's a tricky business. So look at some of two-syllable words and how Polish people mispronounce them, because these are true examples, very common, notoriously mispronounced words. So English people say support, Polish people say support. English people say event, some Polish people say event. English people say award, Polish people say award. English people say moustache, and we say moustache. Polish people say reckon, English people say reckon. And effort in English, effort, effect. So lots of these words, lots, and we have to know which syllable is stressed. In English, generally speaking, there are three levels of stress. We've got with two syllable words, this is not important. But when we come to three-syllable words and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7, then we may have two kinds of stress in a word: primary stress, the loudest, and secondary stress, which is also stress, but not as loud as the primary stress. And then thirdly, the third level of stress is no stress at all, which means that it's not, the syllable is simply weak and it's not stressed at all. Look at some words which we tend to mispronounce. Instead of saying develop, we say develop. Computer, area, vehicle, monitor, history, talented, control, manager. Obviously, you can see the influence of Polish here. Develop, computer. Computer is a funny word that even very advanced students of mine mispronounce. And the other day I asked one student, why did you say this? And she said to me, because when I say computer, it sounds too Polish. See, she wanted to make it sound more sophisticated, and in this way she made a brand new mistake. So manager, control, talented, talented, historia, history, monitor. So completely different places where the stress is. Okay, we go up to longer words. So look, we say alternative. Actually, the two stresses, all, weaker one, alternative. Then we say commentator, but oh, I see, because these are incorrectly marked, just on purpose. So alternative, commentator, determine, believe it or not, people say determine, and terrorism, I can't even pronounce this, terrorism, but the English pronunciation may be alternative, commentator, determine, terrorism. Again, secondary stress, this is how you mark secondary stress below, and main stress is this apostrophe at the top. So contradictory, contradictory. It's not contradictory, but contradictory. Contemporary, it's not contemporary, it's underdeveloped, it's not underdeveloped. Organization, I think this one is generally, okay, I put down this example because there is the secondary stress, organization. Okay, and longer words, even 6-syllable words. I couldn't think of any longer words. There probably are some 7-syllable words. So in those long words, remember the problem is that there are different levels of stress. As I said, English stress system is very complicated. Look at these. There are some. If you change the grammatical category, also this changes the stress pattern. So we've got an increase, but to increase, an import, but to import, a takeaway, but to take away. And again, to cause more problems, there are words in which, unfortunately, the stress pattern remains the same. So we've got a comment, and to comment on something. It's access, and you access something. Contact, you make contact. So it's not as easy as one might think. In compound and complex words, the story is even worse. So look, we've got overlook, 2 stresses, goodness, 1 stress, hardworking, narrow-minded, sitting room, petrol station, washing up liquid. These 3-element words are very, very tricky. Washing up liquid, pickup truck, and phrasal verbs. Grow out of, fall back upon, look up to. Of course, in a moment, when we come to talk about the rhythm in English, you will understand why. And sometimes the stress pattern changes. And why does it change? Because I'll finish later, because this second tip is very interesting. It makes things easy. So when we're dealing with longer words, and once we know which syllable or syllables are stressed, then we know immediately which syllables, the remaining ones, will be reduced. Some of them may even disappear altogether. So instead of saying strawberry, which is very kind of highly, it's highly, how shall I put it? People feel tempted to say strawberry, carefully, temporary. These change to temporary, carefully, strawberry. Right, rhythm. In general, the English rhythm is that of a bouncing ball, or when you clap your hands. Of course, you can bounce the ball more quickly, less quickly, but the spaces between the claps or the beats when or the hits when the ball hits the floor will be more or less the same. Rhythm is the most important thing. I might say rhythm is king in English. Everything is subordinated to rhythm. Look at how it works. The food is Chinese. In this word Chinese, you look up the word in the dictionary and you get this, the word stress. The stress is here, Chinese. But look what happens when you use it in this sentence. It's Chinese food. It's Chinese food. The food is Chinese. So stress syllables must be at a similar distance from each other. And English people do it unconsciously. They're not aware of this. They do it because they speak rhythmically. He's hardworking, but he's a hardworking man. He's hardworking, but he's a hardworking man. What a great idea! But the idea is such is great. This is very interesting. If you look at this, this may make it even clearer. It's a sentence that I put down listening to the BBC this morning. Look, we've got the words begin and start. Both mean the same. And the word distribute. In the dictionary, you'll find that it is stressed on the second syllable, distribute. So to keep the distance, look what they do. We begin distributing the vaccine. And then instead of begin, we use the word start. We start distributing the vaccine. We begin distributing the vaccine. We start distributing the vaccine. And they do it. They do it whenever they feel they need to keep the rhythm. If we don't do it, we end up having this kind of jerky flow of speech, which they sometimes call a staccato effect. There are two types of language in general. So English is a stress-timed language, accent-timed language. So within every phrase, stress syllables occur at more or less equal time intervals. And those syllables which are not stressed, you must fit in between, so that you say them, actually don't say them, but you signal them. So when English people speak, I like this phrase, they spring from accent to accent. They don't stress every syllable, which is the case with Polish English, French English, I would say even more, because Polish is a syllable time. So in connection with this is a very interesting thing. So an utterance in English does not depend on how many syllables there are in the utterance, but on how many stressed syllables there are in the utterance. Listen to this. 2, 3, 4, 20, 30, 40, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. In the first line, the words have one syllable. In the second, 2 syllables. In the third, 3 syllables. But how many stressed syllables? 1, 2, 3. So I have to make sure that I pronounce the 4,000 in the same amount of time that I have. This may come as a shock to you, but it's let me pick up on the idea I've just talked about. And can you look at these sentences? Love makes the world go round, yet hatred makes it grind to a halt. Altogether, the sentence has got 15 syllables. 15 syllables in the sentence. This sentence looks overwhelming, doesn't it? It's got so many words, so many words. I don't want to count. I counted before. This sentence has got 30 syllables. Is twice as long as the first one in terms of the number of syllables. But the beautiful thing about English is that it doesn't matter that this second sentence has got 30 syllables. It is spoken exactly in the same way as the sentence above. So look, it's got only 10 syllables, just as the one above. I will try to read you both sentences and you can time me. You probably, it should take me about 5-6 seconds. I'll try. Love makes the world go round, yet hatred makes it once again. Love makes the world go round, yet hatred makes it grind to a halt. There's a book you'll appreciate at the bottom of the pile next to the one that my brother gave me on Saturday night. You see, all these words, they're squashed together. All these syllables are just like, you know, some remains of each syllable is there. And this is what happens when we start speaking English the Polish way. It is more like, there is a book you'll appreciate at the bottom of the pile next to the one that my brother gave me on Saturday night. If an English person hears something like this, he's tired of it, because he's not used to listening to every syllable stressed. And these are my favorite. Oh, sorry. These are my favorites. Simple sentences, which whenever I can see somebody's is about to ask this sentence, I cover my ears, because I know it's going to be, what are you doing? No matter how often, how hard you try to unteach people not to say this, because English people don't do it. What are you doing? Instead of what are you doing? Where are you going? What are you doing? Or what you doing? So this is irritating. Some examples, real life examples from well, actually the first three sentences I heard on a Pendolino train to Warsaw. And the lady, this is the lady, the conductor, was making an announcement in English. And she went like this: "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen," instead of "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen." The next sentence: the next planet stop is at Iława, instead of the next planned stop is at Iława. The scheduled arrival time is 6 o'clock, instead of the scheduled arrival time is 6 o'clock. And look, this is exactly the rhythm. Look, pan kotek był chory i leżał w łóżeczku i przyszedł doktor, jak się masz, koteczku. Pa, 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 pa. So we've got this machine gun rolling, instead of a Morse code message. So English is very often compared to the way it sounds to people, like you know, transmitting messages by means of the Morse code. And English and Polish and French is like a machine gun. Pa, 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 pa. All syllables, most syllables pronounced more or less exactly the same. Okay, so now, what do we do? What devices, what weapons do we have to make our English kind of smoother, more fluent? What can we use to maintain the fluent rhythm of English? And now we come to connected speech features. So weak forms, contractions, linking. Let's look at them. First function, weak forms. The weak forms of words, I have mentioned this before, right at the beginning. So we only pronounce them strongly. This is the paradox. In the dictionary, you find the strong pronunciation for, from, must, should first. Whereas while in real life, these strong pronunciations are hardly ever used. Contractions. In Polish, we don't have any contractions, but this is also a way of adjusting the length of your utterance. Actually, it's the way in which you adjust the length of the utterance between two stressed syllables. So instead of saying "it will be fine," you say "it'll be fine." Instead of "there will be no problem," "there'll be no problem." You see, so in this way you shorten the syllable so that you can meet the beat which is coming. You know, this is like, you know, the coming of the beat is inevitable. So, like I said, there are some tricky ones which we find very difficult to pronounce, again, for strange reasons. Aren't, weren't. I can't stand it when people say that, but it's aren't, weren't. In American English, yes, you have this rip pronounced, but not in British. This is tricky because you can't say it'd. So you have to put a schwa, it'd, will, So look, a sentence like this, we'd have done it a long time ago if we'd only known about it. We'd have done it. Weak form, we'd have done it a long time ago if we'd only known about it. And the Polish way, we would have done it a long time ago if we had only known about this. Yeah, we stretch the sentence and the rhythm becomes unnatural to an English ear. So we don't have any of those. So shouldn't, nie, yeah, it's like nie jest, nie, because what is just a contract shouldn't, okay, shouldn't, nie powinieneś, yeah, nie powinieneś, nie powinnaś. So we can't make it shorter. Linking. When people think about connected speech features, generally they're terrified because they think, oh my God, this is something truly English and it's beyond mastering. In fact, many features, connected speech features occur also in Polish. This is a very good example. So look, when you stress two words, you've got one apple. When you say it fast, it's one apple. You have a new word, napple. Two apples becomes two apples, linking with. Three apples becomes three yapples. Four apples becomes four apples. And the most surprising thing is draw apples, but in fast speech, draw apples. In Polish, the four exist. Look, ojciec-arka. There's no word like czarka, but listen, ojciec-arka. 100 Arabów. Warabów doesn't exist, but this is what we say. Dni Jedwarda, Parolgi. But the next one doesn't work. Elision, we drop consonants in English, a lot of them. So cupboard, p is not pronounced. Also, tell him, not tell him, asked in fast speech. In Polish, look, wszystko poszedł pod domem. So the device exists. It may not be the same, but as a phenomenon, it does exist. Vowels, suppose, particular, perhaps. Oh, H is missing. Sorry. And then look, how many people, Polish people, say Amerykanistyki? People say Amerykanistyki. People say, our politicians say konstytucja. I can't bear to listen to it. Konstytucja, obywatel. You probably know who I'm talking about. Not obywatel, but obywatel. Sometimes we skip syllables and just to fit in between the stressed syllables. So contemporary, originally 5 syllables, but you can say it in such a way that it's got 3 syllables. Sport sounds like sport. Extraordinary, originally 6 syllables, but may have 4 syllables. Przepana, przebardzo, do widzenia. Listen to people. Listen to how what people say when they are leaving shop. Do widzenia, przepana, 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 prepana. So again, this does exist in Polish. Assimilation. Assimilation is trickier because assimilation is about sounds becoming it's alterations. So we quit one sound and we put a new sound in its place, but it's a sound which is similar to the sound which comes next, and because of this, it is easier to pronounce. So in slow speech, we say green party, but quickly green party, green party. And the same happens in Polish. Syn Piotra, Syn Piotra, Syn Piotra, to był Syn Piotra. Red gold, slowly, red gold. Red gold. Nad głową, nad głową, nad głową. It does look like it's there. 10 girls, 10 girls. Sen Gabrysi, Sen Gabrysi. Exactly, it's the same. 10 boys, 10 boys, 10 boys. Syn Boga, Syn Boga. So assimilation is there. Unfortunately, the second stand of assimilation it's not here. I lose you. In English, it's slow English. It's I lose you. It becomes I lose you. You can't do it in Polish. Bez jazdy, bez jazdy. Nobody would say bez jazdy. I need you. I need you. Błądzioli, błądzioli. No way. I got you. I got you. Kociurka, kociurka. No way. I miss you. I miss you. Las jagód, las jagód. No, this does not exist. Then we've got voicing. Voicing is a huge problem for Polish people because the voicing rules in Polish are different from the English ones. So in English, this is very important. There is no agreement in consonant clusters. In Polish, there is. In Polish, if we have two consonants, the second one always influences the one before. So in English, we say football. You have to say b, football. But the Polish way will be b is voiced, so it will make the t voiced. So that's why I say football. It's the same story here. Facebook, Facebook. What do Polish people say? They say Facebook because b has voiced the s. Baseball, the Polish way, baseball. Baseball. Wishbone, look what happens here. It's in English wishbone, wishbone, but Polish people say wishbone. Vodka, Polish people say vodka because k is voiceless, so the sound before is, and so on and so forth. Yeah, because this is what we do in Polish. Look, pod stołem. Who would say pod stołem? Bez ciebie. It doesn't happen. And also the other way around. Look, website, website. Yeah, so web, you have to say b and s. Dreadful, not dreadful. Bedtime, bedtime. Yes. 100% voicing in English occurs only between vowels. And Polish people can even devoice here. Polish people are great at devoicing. But let me tell you, we're not altogether, we're not so bad. When we think of Scandinavian people speaking English, this is something they are really awful at. So love is in the air. You can't say love is in the air. This is what some people say. Love is in the air. V is voiced, followed by a voiced vowel. So it's love is in the air. At 5 o'clock, not 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, in Polish, we can say both. You see, say sprzedaż bananów, and sprzedaż bananów. So it doesn't matter whether we say sprzedaż bananów and sprzedaż bananów. Nie rób awantury and nie rób awantury. Both are okay. So clearly, Polish people take from here. They borrow from Polish phonology to speak English. A disaster area for Polish people is the complete devoicing at the end of words, especially all those endings, simple present endings, simple past. So especially when the final sound is voiced. So spend, spends. So if we don't make the d here, then we'll be saying like spends. Bill, bills. Dog, dogs. Cats looks very easy. Simple past endings. No problem when the final sound is voiceless. So we say look, looked. Yeah, wish, wished. But when it's voiced, look what happens. Robbed. No, it's not robbed, but it's robbed. Right. Another problem where we go wrong a little bit is the length. Sorry, is the length of we don't make vowels long enough before voiced consonants. There's a simple rule which I will show in a second, and because of the problems with devoicing, we sound to English people very hissy, rustling. We produce a muffled sound. We sound like we were covered, with a duvet. So we don't sound clear, but somehow away, and like there's a blanket between the speaker and the listener. Look, set, said, light, lied, frock, frog, dog, dog, mate, made, inside, inside. And now if we devoice, look what happens. Frog, frog. If you devoice it, frog, frog becomes frog. Frogs, frogs. No way you can know, someone can know what you're saying. Dogs, when it's devoiced, it's dogs. So it's dogs, dogs. Pubs, pubs, pubs becomes pups. So no one knows what you're saying. Final position devoicing is something which we have to keep in mind at all times and work on it. Active. If you listen to the TV and you hear in all those advertisements, active, active, so many words in one word. Active, active, active. So incorrect vowels and devoiced. Bridge, not bridge. Got, it's not got, it's God. The rivers of Babylon, beautiful the, not the rivers of Babylon. Yes, so tip number 4. When a word ends in a voiceless consonant, this is so p, t, k, ch, the preceding vowel is short. So like mate, made. If there is d or may, open syllable, then English people sing this vowel. So made in Poland, made in Poland. And mate, it's made in Poland. Hi mate, it's made in Poland. So even if you devoice a little bit the word made, the distinctive feature will remain the vowel length. So they will recognize the word by the vowel, by the length of the vowel. And please do not devoice completely of those b, d, g, j. The English way of devoicing is if there is if the next sound, if the next word begins with a voiced consonant or a vowel, then there is full voicing. If there is nothing, if there is a pause or devoiced consonant, then there is something which we call partial devoicing. So if I say in isolation the word buzz, 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 it will be buzz. Is buzz, okay, buzz is good, then it's beautifully voiced. But buzz, I can't think of, buzz can't be spelled, buzz can't be spelled like this. So then there will be partially devoiced. This is something I hate to admit, but it's true. Mind you, the whole session I've been talking, because you might be asking yourself the question, what kind of accent have you been talking about? I've been talking about non-regional RP, received pronunciation, educated English, British English, because there is much more devoicing in American English, in Canadian English, in Scottish, Welsh English, and Irish English. So it is allowed. But I'm talking about this non-regional accent, educated British accent. And this is what Oscar Wilde said about Polish, the Polish accent. I hear hissing, rustling, hushing, and my ears are bleeding. So in simple words, we are like, the overall sound we create is that of a hissing snake. And instead of being as buzzy as bumblebees, so bzz, 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 this is what the impression they get when we speak with all these problems that I have talked about today. There's another problem, so there is something which I should have mentioned right at the beginning, but this thing has been stopped. Teachers have stopped teaching it, and I don't think it's been in the program of university pronunciation teaching. That is, it's called articulate resetting. articulatory setting. Every language has its own articulatory setting. This is the most comfortable position of speech articulators, which is used by the speakers to articulate words, sentences in a most comfortable, energy-saving way. So in English, this is it's the English voice box is placed not at the front of the mouth like the Polish one. It's placed in the center. So it uses a lot of central vowels. So loads of schwas, loads of e, and then all the alveolar ridge sounds t, d, s, z, l, n, and When you make these sounds, yeah, this is more or less the position to speak English. And the tongue in the mouth is placed higher. It keeps hitting the alveolar ridge, not the teeth, because the teeth is the place where we hit when we speak Polish. And these are small things, but they do affect the overall accent altogether. Right, to finish off, goodness me, the timing's been almost perfect, if something can be perfect. So overall, I hate to, okay, what is the main problem? The main problem with Polish pronunciation is that we say too much. We articulate too much. We say more than an English ear is expecting. Because of this, we sound formal, we sound staccato, instead of pam, 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 pam. Yeah, what are you doing? Not what are you doing? Where are you going? Where are you going? Yeah, so they put words together, they link words together. They do not pronounce each word separately, and they do not pause so much between words. So unfortunately, we have problems with word stress, but I'm not surprised, because as I said before, it is pretty complicated. We don't use enough weak forms and contractions, which are so commonly used in everyday speech. So those weak forms I must go. It's for me instead of it's for me. I must go. Following the rhythm, yeah, bum, bum, stressed syllables equally distanced. The ones in between, they are almost like not pronounced. So they are pronounced, but very weakly. Yes, words like ordinary. So English people, when they know which syllable gets stressed, they know that the other syllables must be reduced. So in simple words, this is what may be going on in the head of a native speaker. As soon as I have pronounced the stressed syllable, the rest of the word is not important, because people recognize words by those initial stressed syllables. So I don't have to bother that much about the rest of the word. So we don't use those linking and elisions so much, and this gives us a staccato effect. And the voicing, yeah, this is the hissy, the hiss which remains in the air when we speak a lot. Assimilation rules. Some of the assimilation rules, I would say, is the trickiest of all here, because some of the assimilation rules are the same, but there are also some that don't work. By and large, we use elements of Polish phonology. And I should go back to the beginning, and let's see if I can do it. To speak a second language correctly, we must not borrow anything from it. No individual sounds, no phonology, no phonological rules. And we must use the articulatory setting, which is the setting for English. It's impossible to speak English with a Polish articulatory setting. And on this very positive note, okay, where am I? Okay, I'm finishing. Well, I'd like to thank you very much. I don't know who I've been talking to. I hope there's been somebody at least. But well, I hope you did.
We've had quite an audience. I think it's been up to 70, 80 people at times, and currently
Really?
still 67 people watching. So it's amazing, super informative. I think it's been an extraordinary presentation. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it clarifies quite a bit of stuff even advanced users and teachers of English find confusing. So I think it is amazing.
It is.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I've tried to put it in a nutshell, but it's not so easy.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.
Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.
You too, everyone else out there, whoever's alive, whoever hasn't gone to sleep.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.